Hello. Why do I come to you as a car? Or as a Jeep, I guess. Well, right now, it hurts too much to be a person. So maybe it's a bit of a retreat from that. So I can at least talk. I've been continuing to go through the stripping action of things that I guess need to be detached or stripped away. I don't know. I'm going through it as willingly as I can, greeting the pain as it comes. It kind of throws me for a loop sometimes, though. I guess this is one of those times. I really don't know what I have to say. Um, I just feel like crying. And I guess it's an important part of what we're doing here. I'm being shown good things as I go through this. I see how what we love or are attached to is more our idea of what that is than the thing itself. When the person acts in ways that aren't in consonance with love or how you think it should be, or you just have to realize that you had expectations on them, and you have to look to your own expectations and give that some work. It's not the other person's fault. We just have concepts and we fall in love with our concepts. I guess there's really four people in every relationship: who you are, and who you think, who the other person thinks you are, and then who they are and who you think they are. And so it's more of an interaction than just a one-on-one thing. And so, you know, and then you see through where other people are doing maybe some manipulation that they're not aware of. And you don't necessarily want to see that. You want to hold a bright image of everyone. And I can still do that. I've heard it called holding the immaculate concept, because in heart there is an absolute radiant perfection. Now it's not just the ideal, it's very real. But now, whether or not it's something that we're out picturing, that we're radiating, that we're shining right here in this incarnation on the earth, that's another matter. Of course. But we can still love that, and we can choose to see everyone, the friend, even the enemy. We can choose to see everyone in that highest light. It's a holy light. It's divine vision, and one of the things I enjoy so much about listening to people's near-death experiences is how they go into that light and they have direct experience of that perfection of love and beauty and shining radiance, that it takes the breath away, and it defies the ability of words to carry the experience. It really can't be done. But that's the beauty that's really there. And we connect with it, we contact it when we cross over. Now, I guess I did want to say something about, people wonder, is there a hell? Could there be? And how could a God create such a thing? There's not the mention of hell in the Bible. There's talk of a pit, but there's a limited time in this pit, something 1,000 years or something like that, whatever that turns out to be, I don't know. But I think this concept of a heaven and hell, so much of it is of more recent invention. And yet, why is it that many people do have a negative experience, maybe entirely or partly as a part of their NDE? You know, um, there are people that want to say, well, anyone that has an experience like that, that's not real, and that must have been of the devil, and blah, 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 and we run away from this thing. But let's look at it instead, and let's see. You see, just as, now these are my understandings, okay? This is all I can offer you, and you've got your own. So, this is just information. Okay. We When we have anger and hatred inside, when we have prejudice against any aspect of life, I don't care if it's roaches you hate. Hating is not divine. Beginning and end of story. And hate and prejudice and anger, this is precisely the energy of war. When you multiply that together across a populace, you get what the dark side can use to foment war. We are creating that. If we did not have these feelings, these energies within the self, there could be no war. Now, I know that's hard, because what that says is everyone, every single one of us, has to take a certain amount of responsibility for what's happening on Earth, much more than we've been taught. We haven't been taught that we're connected up like this in any way. Well, come on, guys. It's energy. We're energy. Everything, when you get down to it, is energy. And this is the energy of war. And we are creators. That's what we do with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our attention. What we do with it, how we focus it, and so on. Now, there are a lot of players in this. I will admit, there are unseen things, little no-see-ums, that come in and try to magnify and amplify dark energies, and so on and so on. The whole ET thing. We don't need to get into that. We're just talking about, is there hell? All right, here's my understanding. Right now, we're mostly in 3D. A lot of us are actually in 4D, and even spending some time, yep, up here in 5D. All right, maybe higher, I don't know. 6D is the highest I've gone. But anyway, okay, so to my understanding, which is limited, this is not some ascended being speaking to you here, angel or something. But the way I understand it is that the fourth dimension, and George Kavasilis, I think, is pretty right on in his delineation of this. He agrees with me. I agree with him, however we want to say it. The fourth dimension is huge from the top to the bottom of it. There are levels and distinctions, and then there are levels within levels. There's an infinity of points between 1 and 2, and it's endless. And so with the dimensions, in a way. And so they can be divided up into what he called octaves. And then there are levels within the octaves, such as, on a piano, an octave is 7 notes there. The full octave is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then you hit C. Okay, so that's an octave, and so within the octave you have the notes, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, at the very, very bottom of 4D is a region where the energy signature and frequency is dark, and the heavy energy is magnetized there. It's native there. It goes there. That's where what it feeds, what it is. And this could be called hell. All right? It's not like it's fire and brimstone for eternity. Get rid of all religious concepts here, if you would. Let's just do this based on physics, okay? That works better. We're energy beings, and this is certain frequencies and signatures of energy that are native to the very lowest part of 4D. So while it's above us in a certain sense, because it's non-physical, it is still a very low vibrating frequency. Low as you can go. Low, 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 low. Okay, now, why would a person deal with that? Why would a person go there? Well, you notice if you've had NDEs or OBEs, if you've gone out of the body, and I'm trying to think, the hemisync guy, Robert Monroe. Okay, he's got a trilogy. Well, he's got 3 books that he wrote that I highly recommend. He's the one that I think he was the inventor of NDE as a term. I'm not positive about that. But anyway, he was an explorer and an adventurer. And whenever you leave the body, you have to cross a certain, he calls it the gray zone, a certain area where it's best that you kind of skedaddle through and don't get stuck and don't stop and you know, just keep going. And this is probably that. Okay, so we've got something, we've got some concept of where and how it exists. Why would we go there? Because we've helped create it. Just like with our anger and our hatred and our prejudice, which is just an unreasoning hatred. We have, and it's all very mental. These energies are mental, notice. These are not energies of heart. Okay, with these energies, we help with the creation of war. Our very energy can be taken up and put together by the dark forces and used to foment war and to support it. So we have had a part, every one of us has at one time or another and multiple times played a part in the creation of hell, if you will. Okay? Unforgiveness, hardness of heart, shutting loved ones out, you know, just being hard and cold. All of these things that are not love go to a lower level. They don't vibrate to a really high level, so they cannot ascend. And so that's what pulls us into this darkness when we cross over. Now, God is, or source, or prime creator, or the isness, whatever we call it, is ultimately merciful. To simply cry out for assistance when caught in such a pit is often all that it takes, and we're instantly removed from that. So again, there's no eternity in hell. Just erase that concept. Give it up. It's obscene. You know, they want us believing in these things because based on our beliefs, we are creating them. All right? Now, why would I be looking at such things? Because of truth, my friends. Truth is beautiful. Even when that which is true isn't something, it's ugly, you know, it's something we don't want to be true or real. Even so, it is what it is. And to me, the only way out of the mess that we're in, out of chaos and confusion, is pursuing truth. And I am willing to look at anything that is. So, not meaning to give so much emphasis to this, but I did want to share, just because somebody has an experience that seems somewhat hellish in their NDE doesn't necessarily invalidate that experience. I mean, that's very real for some folks. That's they're participating in some of what is the energy of their own creation. All that we can be faced with in life is we have to take responsibility for our experiences. And you notice too that most people that go through the true NDE, the real experience, are often changed for life. Changed in such big ways that it takes sometimes years to adapt to the new understandings that they've been given. My favorite one at this point is still MELLEN-BENEDICT, MELLEN-Benedict. You can do a search on him and come up with some, he was interviewed on Coast to Coast, and that's out there. And there are other interviews as well. You can go out to iTunes and do a search on his name. So anyway, the highest of the high is available, but you know, this other also exists. And if we never take a look at it if we never take any responsibility for how we might have helped create and construct it, then it's going to take us by surprise when we come to the direct experience of it. So, for me, myself, and I'd rather work through as much of it as I can now. We can cleanse, purge, and purify. It's like Dannion Brinkley, Dannion. Dannion Brinkley is another one. He had 3 individual NDEs at years apart where he lost his life for a period of time that was pretty extensive. His experiences on the other side. And he laughs and jokes because he was a real gangsta. When he first died, he wasn't worth much. You know, he wasn't anybody any community would be glad to welcome. And so as he went through his life review, he got to see and feel directly what it was like being on the receiving end of him and his energies, the consequences of the things that he said and did. And it straightened him out big time. So big, he was so changed, and this often happens, that his spouse, you know, the marriage broke up. He turned into somebody and something else as far as she was concerned, and he knew it. He knew it. It was true. Anyway, he jokes because he wanted his next experience with the NDE to be much finer than that. And so he has become a real public servant, a real giver of heart. He helps people cross over with hospice and with the terminally ill. That's his service. And he trains people and helps so that he has a whole army of folks that are there at the bedside, helping people cross over and helping them get through whatever might be on the other side, and helping them resolve as much as they can before the big date with God or Source or whatever, Spirit. Okay, so his subsequent NDEs, he got to feel the wonder and the joy and the happiness and the peace that he had been able to inspire in folks after he was changed and converted by his first experience. So it's a beautiful thing, you know, to go to hell, so to speak, or to have a hellish experience, such as having to feel all of the meanness and cruelty, and you know, to be on the receiving end of that could be considered kind of hellish. It's not fun. And yet you can tell by the change in the life, oh my God, what a blessing. Blessing in disguise. Okay. You know, sometimes it takes the 2x4 to help us wake up, and Dannion was definitely 2x4 material. All right. So anyway, you know, it's not like that's a plug for hell or anything, but it's a sensible way of looking at it and understanding it. And so a repentant heart is a big thing. Forgiveness is a big thing. You know, violet flame is a beautiful kind of meditation. Any kind of meditation that's on forgiveness and letting people go, you know, allowing them to be sovereign beings and giving them the right to say and do what they will, to live their life as they will, and honoring that. That's a beautiful thing, even when it hurts, because I'm finding in my personal experience, when it hurts, I need to look inside and I need to see, oh dear, where was I cut off from reality here? You know, I was loving maybe the image of the friend as much as I was loving the real one. And so I have to look at my own internal images, and that helps. We can clear up a lot of this darkness that we have created across all of our lifetimes. We can clear it up now in this embodiment. Okay? Heart will guide us into that. May you be blessed, infinitely, eternally blessed in the light, and may you bring that light that you are into the darkness. God bless.